Morning, everyone. Let's scootle over like that. Yeah, that looks better. Light in terms of lighting. So my throat's a little shot today, so just gonna let you know about that beforehand.
Okay.
There we go. I think with that we are all good to go. Let me just check that we're actually streaming and we're not just screaming into the void.
Old man yells at cloud.
Listen, that is me, but like you don't get to call me
That's
out.
me.
That's fair enough.
That's me. I'm old.
Nah, you're all right. Okay. Let's see. Where's that music I usually use for this? That's a pretty good one. Let's see.
Maybe a little AC/DC this morning to get us going.
Oh, I wish.
Yeah, we don't want to get the stream banned
Mm-hmm.
or what a DCMA'd.
Trust me, if there was no rules for what music I was allowed to do, like, there's so much stuff I would love to play on stream.
Absolutely.
Damn proprietary copyright nonsense.
Right.
Main reason why I don't really stream as much as I think I'd want to is just because I don't want to listen to generic music the entire time.
Yeah. I mean, if you can find good generic music, it's honestly not too bad.
You mean like the Star Spangled Banner, songs from the 1800s?
Mm-hmm.
Or like royalty-free music, because like Spotify has a few royalty-free music like playlists, but like they're just like, this is white noise.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I think mine's alright. Okay. So, this brings us to the question. Where were we last time?
I think our stream cut out.
Our stream cut out? Is it even live?
Maybe, yeah.
It had best be live.
Well, I see a boat and I see Hardbee.
Yeah.
It still looks up to me.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we're all good.
Alright then. Maybe I'm
Let's
just seeing
see.
things.
When we last left our heroes,
Well, like,
we had deposited the Lady of Hardbee in Hardbee.
honestly, I was really jazzed about the last session. I thought that was brilliant. So, starting at it now, you guys are in the skies above Hardbee. Your ship has just recently taken off, and you're out with renewed vigor. You've got Rayrell's young daughter with you, and really the entire world of Greyhawk is open up to you, and you can go wherever you want. Like, I really can't say, like, where we begin. It's more a question of, like, Soren, where do you take us?
Well, so where am I directing us then?
I
The newly
think we
minted
need
Blue
to
Jay.
figure that out. We can't exactly take the ship directly back to Greyhawk at the moment, since we know someone's coming after it.
Yes.
And I'd rather get that taken care of before if we take it back.
And remember that Drew is a little conflicted because he does need to report back to his clergyman.
Was there like a time limit on this mission?
I believe the words that were spoken was as soon as possible. Report
This
back.
feels like something that they would have attached the phrase "with utmost haste" to the end of.
Yes.
I mean, we have the boat, or we have the ship, so think that's the main thing we got out of the site.
Right, because we didn't know that this is what we were looking for.
Right.
As far as we know, the only one who knows this is a ship is Rory's forces.
Right.
Everyone else only saw a shooting star, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all of Hardby saw you take off.
Hardby's got its own stuff going on right now. They've got a little civil war happening.
Fair
This is
enough.
True.
Oh, goodness.
I mean, if you were insistent on going back to Greyhawk right now, my only suggestion would be perhaps not taking the ship all the way to the city. If you wanted to go in and if you wanted to go in on foot and report to your church, you may be able to gather a little bit of information as to why Greyhawk is suddenly getting its military involved at Hardby. Because we don't know what's happened in the city since we left that prompted that.
Indeed.
Especially if they were working with Rory's forces.
Note for. Remember that Drew is lawful neutral, which is lawful neutral individuals act in accordance with law, tradition, and personal codes. Alright, so with that in mind, Drew will turn to Soren. My only concern is that the church will want to confiscate the boat from us.
Yes, that's another reason I suggested perhaps trekking in and not delivering the ship immediately. We still don't. I mean, we know that there's obvious risks with the ship in that before we told them to stop, our little geometric friends were pinging our location to somebody who wants the ship back. And Rory's forces stayed off of the ship. They seemed to avoid it like the plague, and we were able to just walk on. I'm still about that.
Have we searched this ship from stem to stern? Have we done a complete sweep?
I know I've felt the ship, and I know we are the only ones on it.
I think we should search this ship completely to familiarize ourselves with it and see if there are any artifacts or other items the church may be interested in.
Can I keep the sword at least?
I do not see why not.
Good.
I did make the deal that we would split things found, and part of your payment would be items and monies found on the trip. So please.
Because, I mean, to be fair, the church didn't expect us to bring back a comet. I believe you asked us to go gather information.
That's true. Granted, the ship was our best bet of getting out of the situation we were in at the time.
Oh no, that's just me logicking why we can perhaps claim the ship as our own.
Well, I would say this, Soren. I think that you have part of an idea. I think that
that's usually the case.
If we truly wish to keep the ship, I think that you have claim to ownership rights. Assuming that you are the captain of the ship, and that the ship is responding to your commands. I think you can make a claim that it is, in fact, yours.
65 looks over at Drew a little confused. We are his?
I would say that Soren is the captain at this point. Would you not agree?
We agree.
So for now, the orders are being taken from the captain, are they not?
We understand.
I do believe this is our best bet, Soren.
I agree. We should... Soren will... Since he's the only one out of us who can pilot this ship, it makes sense for him to lay claim to it to the church. Hopefully then we can keep it.
I am not familiar with the rules of maritime law on the sand.
I'm not sure maritime law applies in the air either. But it's, I mean,
What a conundrum.
nothing would make me happier than continuing to pilot this ship if we can make that work.
Well, for me, I think there's a lot of good that can be done from here. So, I will be your advocate, but I do feel compelled to report what we have found, and to be honest.
That's fair, and it's on the research end of things. Again, since it was proposed to us more as a research mission, we've got good information as to what caused the flash in the sky, what the ship was doing. I mean, we know now that the ship was fighting illithids in other ships before this. Again, which all of this is totally new information, so that may be enough.
And we know that the Gith were originally the pilots of this ship.
Yes.
Well, I
and we
think
at least
those are the basis of our report then.
Suppose so.
So what
All
I
right.
propose is shall we go to Greyhawk? Let's park this thing a little ways away. We do not want to scare the local citizenry. And then we shall walk back to the city and make our report to the canon of the temple. Agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed. Though, I may ask for you two to handle this. I have more personal matters to deal with once we reach Greyhawk.
Indeed, my lady.
What are you dealing with? She's kind of like spying in the doorway of the engine room.
We have to go see your father, darling. If you're gonna tag along, he better know you're safe.
Oh, okay. Got it. She
Yep.
gives you a nervous thumbs up and closes the door. Yep, he definitely knows what I'm up to.
She told him last session that she didn't tell him that she had left. So
Yeah, she's definitely a little awkward around the idea of confronting the father figure.
yeah. I look to Soren and Drew. It's like, you don't mind if she tags along, right?
No, of course not.
Okay.
Soren kind of takes a deep... Soren. Hi, Soren. Drew will take a deep breath and just kind of looks at Rayrell with kind of a questioning face and replies to her. My only concern is keeping her safe in case something happens.
She's a quite capable shot, but I understand your concerns.
Those are... The safety of children is paramount to the faith of Cuthbert.
Of course. Well, if she does stay, because I don't know what her father will think or argue, so if she stays with us, we'll figure out a game plan if we do come under attack. Because I'd prefer to keep her out of harm's way, but she has a different mind altogether.
Well, as her mother, we will defer, obviously, to your decision. And you have my word. I will do my best to protect her, should any harm try to come to her.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And Drew will simply turn and walk out and go to the bow of the ship and kind of do his best Jack impersonation from Titanic.
But who's the lady that you're putting your arms so gently around?
The boat. Come on, man.
You love the boat. Oh.
The boat, they're known as, hers and she's. They have pronouns too.
Mm-hmm.
A boat is commonly referred to as female. So, which doesn't really matter. It's just a dumb thing to know. But Drew will just simply go to the bow and kind of hang out.
So, Soren, you're taking us to Greyhawk then?
Yes, and I think kind of with each trip, Soren's kind of like stretching his wings essentially a little bit more with the ship, being a little more like cavalier, kind of trying to figure out the extent of its flying capabilities.
I.e., how fast it can go.
I mean, even at its slower speeds, this thing clearly moves faster than any ship, like, on water does.
And I think that's it, kind of not just speed, but getting a sense of the handling, like being able to like pivot and turn it as needed. I mean, messing with the elevation at all, as that's totally new to me. That's a third dimension I don't normally have to worry about on ships.
Fair enough. So, you take the ship upwards, and you take it out forwards, moving at fast speeds back towards the city of Greyhawk. And you're about halfway there, and you're on the helm when number 65B comes up to you, the little round guy, and you know that 65s A through D aren't intelligent beings, they just sort of, much the way the ship is an extension of you, they are extensions of 65. So 65B puts his hand outward in a little salute and says, "Commander Soren, we have spotted a meteor."
Directions.
Another spelljammer has entered the atmosphere.
Can we identify it?
Unable to identify at the current time.
Is it coming in our direction?
Negative. It is staying within the atmosphere.
Do these... Maybe a silly question. Do you all 65 Prime told me that you all could communicate previously with kind of a hive mind, or not? That may be not the correct term, but
you have requested that we separate ourselves from the hive mind. Thus, 65 functions as the head network of this hive mind.
Yes, my question was: do other ships have means of communicating with us if they were trying to get in touch?
Yes.
Is this one doing so?
Negative. It is out of range of any telecommunicative methods.
If I kind of, instead of relying on 65B, if I kind of sit back in the helm's chair and like turn my senses out towards the ship, am I sensing where this is at all? Is that an inherent function of the ship, or is it only our little Modron friends that can do it?
From 65B's report, and from what you can tell, this thing is very, very high up, and it's just sort of sitting in stasis. It's far, far beyond the atmosphere of Oerth. You can't quite tell what's going on its end.
In that case, I think I've been more focused on trying to figure out like the flying controls of the ship than focusing on anything interior or any interior functions, but I'm gonna think now about the ship and like wonder if I can almost make announcements through the ship, like if I have any kind of internal PA system or anything like that. So I'm just gonna start like thinking to myself like Rayrel, Drew, and see if they can hear me from where I'm at.
I would say yes. Yes, you can. And this is a kind of a new sensation for both Drew and Rayrel, to get a voice inside your mind. But yeah, I don't know, where is Soren and where is Rayrel and where is Drew at?
I think Rayrel's gonna be like scouting the boat a bit more, like just a more in-depth investigation.
I think Drew was shouting, "I'm king of the world" at the front of the boat.
Okay. So, yeah, it's kind of weird, but you can. It's like Soren is whispering in your ear. It's very hard to hear, but you can make it out, and it's like a little whisper in the back of your mind.
Okay. What's he saying?
That's up to Soren, I suppose.
Oh, it was mostly it was just calling your guys' names or your all's names at this point. Because he doesn't know that this will work. He's just thinking he's talking to himself at this point,
Actually,
but testing the capabilities.
Drew, since you are on the crest of the ship, like at a pretty high point on it, like you can see the meteor that they're talking about. You can only see it as a slight purple streak in the sky, but like you know that there's something up there.
Well, if that's the case, so if Drew were to be, on the front of the boat, kind of just, my description for kind of facetious, he was just trying to see, what's going on. But if he does, the moment that Drew sees another celestial type object flying through the sky,
Now,
I would imagine. Go
keep
ahead.
in mind this thing is very far away.
Okay, but still, these are things that in our world are very rare, correct? Like things like that. And look, we're very biblical in terms of Cuthbert's theology, so he's gonna immediately return to the captain's deck or wherever the bridge is, and he'll go and see if Soren is still piloting the ship.
Okay. So, Soren, you have one visitor.
Yep, I think you walk in and you see like Soren calling your names to himself to see if it works.
Yeah, he's sort of mumbling to himself in a chair.
So I'm hearing your voice in my dome while I'm standing next to you.
Mm-hmm. It's weird though, because no words are coming out of his mouth, just out of your head.
In a very confused look. Why are you in my head?
Was I? I mean, I was trying to see if I could. Ooh, so it does work. I was trying to contact you. It's the crew is telling me that there's another ship that's made itself apparent.
Perhaps the light I saw streak across the sky?
Would be a good guess. According, our little circle friends here say that it is too far away for them to determine anything beyond just that it is a ship.
Indeed.
So it's not close. That was my main concern, was whether it seemed to be moving to intercept us. So we can investigate, or we can continue on with our current course. Maybe these things come all the time and we normally just can't see them. So maybe this isn't something to be worried about. Or alternatively, they're coming to kill us all because we took their ship.
Or perhaps this was the front part of an invasion force, or there's so many different possibilities. I think it would behoove all of us to inform the canon. And I say we stick with the plan, and then we go from there.
Well, sounds like absolutely will be done.
I think
it's just kind of file away in my head kind of the general location of where this ship is, so that hopefully when we're done in Greyhawk we can tell where or if it's moving at all and get a sense of its direction.
It's in the atmosphere far, far above, basically the in-between point between the two cities, along the river.
Oh.
Soren, have you considered that? If we do indeed, or if we are allowed to continue in our journeys on the Blue Jay, once again it might behoove us to hire a crew, perhaps some men-at-arms.
Well,
Something
I mean,
to think about.
we've got at least a skeleton crew here with our shape friends who are familiar with operating the ship.
I wonder if they can fight.
65s. 65s.
They all kind of march in, very orderly, like in a perfect little line. You called?
Yes. Do you all simply operate the ship, or are you involved in combat when need be?
65 looks at his cohorts. We are capable of combat.
Can you protect the ship? Can you help protect the ship?
In a fight against the Githyanki crew, we would not emerge victorious. In a fight against a Mind Flayer crew, we would not emerge victorious. In a fight against a human crew, the odds of us emerging victorious are slim.
What defensive measures do you have on this ship?
Well, let me pull that back up then really quick. Have it here somewhere. There it is. We have a light cannon, a swivel ballista, and 2 fixed siege ballistas, as well as a deck for explosives. This is not a mainstay combat vessel. This is a tertiary scouting vessel.
However, that is enough armament for any boat in Greyhawk.
So
Boats
this
in
arsenal is what they put
Greyhawk
on
are-
schooners.
Boats in Greyhawk are poorly armed. We would consider this ship a schooner.
This is good information. How does the light cannon operate? And is it directional? Can we fire it in any direction?
We were not in charge of the operations of the light cannon.
I think I shall go see what that is about. Excuse me, Soren. I'm off to the light cannon.
Please do.
So,
Please investigate as much of this
It looks like the
weaponry as
light
you'd
cannon.
like.
It looks like the light cannon is fixed. And like fixed forward. I think, but I can't tell.
it's fixed. You can't swivel it around and stuff.
Alright, it's like the Yamato from Star Blazers,
Mhm.
where it's just got a big cannon shooting forward.
Yes, it can be raised up and down though.
Okay. Cool. Alright, no, that's
And
good to know.
You have like about 3 or 4 degrees of turning on the left and right, but nothing major.
Okay. Cool. No, that's good to know. So, I mean, and I can't wait to experiment with that to see what kind of damage it can do.
So, Soren, while Drew is examining this, where is the ship heading? Towards Greyhawk? Or towards the streak? Or to some third location?
Continuing on towards Greyhawk
Okay.
and surveilling the surrounding area and consulting with 65 to find a good place to set down with some camouflage.
Okay. So, keep in mind, like, if this thing lands on water, you can perfectly pull off the ship routine.
Yeah, but then we do have to deal with. Then there's essentially an account of the ship still, with like harbor masters and the like. It's at least until we've kind of got the all clear to that no one's going to try and just claim the ship as their own. I'd rather keep it out of play.
I mean, Greyhawk's got a river running through it. Like, if that's how you want to enter it, like, the thing can be hid pretty easily along the riverbanks as you get deeper into the mires.
Yep, I think, yeah, if there's any kind of like cave networks or anything like that.
So, you initially entered Greyhawk or you left Greyhawk from the south, but a little bit to the north, there are cave networks that you can exploit. Yes.
Right. I mean, and kind of, I guess, falling back on previous knowledge, if there's any good, like, smuggler stash locations that I could think of,
Mm-hmm.
kind of less populated areas like that.
Okay. So yeah, that would probably be your best bet. And you do know of cave networks in the area, so you can exploit those. So, meanwhile, while this is happening, Rayrell, you come up to the top deck to see Drew examining a peculiar piece of arcane machinery that you really haven't taken note of up until this point.
What you looking at?
What appears to be a very powerful cannon of some type, although... And I would DM,
Mm-hmm.
if it is indeed a light cannon, are there like lenses? Is it like a glass? You know what I mean? Instead of like a hole?
So it's basically like it's a lot of brass and silver machinery that you're not quite familiar with. And then at the end, there is a large crystal focusing lens of some sort that's pulsating different rainbow-like colors.
Okay, so Drew will continue to Rayrell. This is no ordinary cannon. This appears to fire light or some sort of how would I explain? Perhaps you might know it as a magic missile, or kind of something light bound. Does that make sense?
I suppose I have seen magic missiles cast by mages and wizards and such.
Right, beams of light that shoot forward and kill things. I
Right.
do believe this is the same sort of item, yet on an exponentially more powerful basis.
Huh. That explains why there's no area to load balls.
Exactly. It looks to be... I'm not sure exactly how it is used, but I know... Oh, okay, so just so you guys know, I'm trying to... I don't know what electricity is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Drew doesn't know what electricity... Yeah. He knows what kind of lightning is, but he still doesn't know it's electricity, if you know what I mean. So that's where I'm on the struggle bus. So Drew continues, I know not how this thing is supplied with whatever it is that makes it work.
So you can see though that there is sort of like a place to put your hand inside the thing.
Oh. I'm sure. Put your hand in here. Boom.
Basically, it's like a
right?
massive like internal gauntlet.
Yeah. Well, Drew is going to stand up straight, and Rayrell, you're going to see a very peculiar look on his face as he's mouthing the words, "Hey, Soren," and in his mind trying to project, "Hey, Soren," and to see if it works from there. I mean, and you see this just really smirky, kind of shy face, like he just thinks this is the dumbest thing of all time, but and it's not gonna work. So, but he's doing it anyways.
I mean, Soren can in fact hear you, actually.
That
Yeah, it works. Surprisingly, a ship that was owned by psychic creatures is pretty well attuned for mindfuckery, huh?
Yes, Drew. What's the situation?
At Ray Rail, you see Drew kind of take a half step, put both his hands out like WTF, and and Ray Rail did, and he tries to talk to Ray Rail with the mind thing instead of his voice.
So that does
And
not,
you
in fact,
hear
work.
me?
No. You don't feel any projection outward.
And Drew is just staring at Ray Rail in the eyeballs to see if she does any like intently looking, bending over, looking, and nothing, huh?
She's very uncomfortable. Drew, you're a little young for me. I'm flattered.
He blushes and takes a step back nervously. Obviously Ray Rail's attractive, but he's very, very shy when it comes to these things, and he's my lady, please forgive me. There's this thing, Soren. Shit. And you see him just walk away. He's going straight to Soren's deck again, where he's in command. And and Drew is. He's bald, so you blushed his whole head. And he just marches back into Soren's area.
Well, actually, so that's an interesting question. Is Cuthbert priests, do they take a vow of celibacy or no?
No, they
Okay.
are. They can have families
Got
and
it.
kids and all that stuff.
Got it. If you are a priest of Cuthbert, yes, you can fuck. Got it.
Yes, you can knock the boots. So he the flustered Drew is going straight to Soren. He'll walk in the command deck, and Soren, you see a very flushed Drew trying to put whatever just happened in the past as fast as he can. This thing,
were you trying to contact me?
Yes. This thing, this mind, this talk. Apparently, we can speak to you, but I could not speak to Ray Rail. So,
It's when you first heard me. Did you hear me saying your name and Ray Rail's? Because I tried. I wonder if I can essentially communicate with both of you at once, and I wonder if there's any kind of residual connection you all can use in that case.
Well, all these words you are using are a bit above my vocabulary. However, I did completely forget why I came here to speak with you. Perhaps it was the cannon? And you just see Drew is a little flustered. This light, this cannon, how powerful is it on the front?
Oh, I think that's a question for 65. I have not been experimenting with any of our weapons that seemed. We should know what they do. I just have not. I was not experimenting there on my own.
65 is just kind of standing there like...
Drew will turn to 65.
Yes?
The cannon on the front of the ship. Can you explain it to me, please?
We were never in charge of running the armaments on this vessel. I can give you the summary of the best we have. Oops.
That is all I would ask. Could you just explain to me what it is and what it can do?
It fires a colorful beam, and it generally proves lethal to whatever being it hits. There are very few creatures I've seen that can take the beam and continue on fighting.
Indeed.
if you were to attempt to use it, we would say that whatever other plans you have for magical endeavors for the day, we would recommend that you cancel them. But as he's saying that, Soren, you're getting close to pulling into a cave that you found of the right size.
I'll try again, essentially just fooling around with it now, like it's a new toy. I'll go back on our psychic overcom system and be like, we're now landing. Prepare yourselves for landing. And then not knowing, again, it being new and not knowing how to like turn it off completely. I think for the next like 3 minutes or so, you just hear Soren humming a song in his head.
Mm-hmm.
Like forgetting that the connection is made.
But Drew, what were you gonna say? Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, you didn't. Drew wants to search the ship now. Drew would like to tell Soren, I do believe we should search this ship in its entirety before we leave.
That's all fine with me. It's this little expedition on shore you are in charge of, so you tell us.
Great. Okay.
Or at least my side of it. It sounds like Grayrel has some of her own business to address.
Well, let's meet here, and then we can go over what we want to do.
I mean, you've got a big cave you're in. You're, in a little lagoon in it. What you three do is entirely up to you right now.
Let's search the ship. That's what we'll do. We're gonna search the ship, like the entire boat, and see if there's any items that we may come across that we could actually use. What Cuthbertin wouldn't want a mace or a nice weapon of some sort if it pops up. So,
okay. Searching the top decks, you find pretty much just rigging and things like that. On the deck below the light cannon, you find the fixed siege ballista and rounds for that. So these are very heavy, crossbow-like bolts. And these fixed siege ballistas seem like they would pack a hell of a punch to anything you launch it at and could easily damage another ship. So,
and how many of them are there? Just one?
There are 2 fixed siege ballistas.
Okay.
So then you go to the storage hull. And the storage hull has mostly food, mostly garments and the stuff that anyone would pack for a long trip out. But there are a few peculiarities there. There are about 3 red gemstones that you find throughout. They're very small, but they're perfectly spherical, and they shine beautifully. And then you have the engine and helm chair, which, Soren, you already know this room quite well. And there's nothing too crazy there. It's just a magically fire-powered engine and 5 sentient shape creatures. So, about as normal as it gets.
In that chair is probably where Soren has spent about 90% of his time since we found this ship.
Mm-hmm. Then you have the bottom part of the ship, which features basically the bathroom. You have the galley, which is your kitchen, and all the food that you would need within that. There's some fun spices, some rare stuff, some strange salts that you're not quite sure of. You think that it may have been harvested from a dead god's sweat glands. You hope that's not the case. There's, crew quarters, and they, much like the creatures you've encountered, are very Spartan in their nature. So they're very barren with the bare minimum needed to, upkeep life. You do find in one of them a silver and, the same way they build all their weapons, there's silver with a red stone in it. And this one is a short spear, and it's in one of the crew quarters. But other than that, like, most of the stuff that was on the ship that, would otherwise have been there, burned up on entry because anything good was kept in the war room. So that's about it for... Oh, yeah. And on the bomb bay, there's some very heavily locked chests that, after enough time and fiddling, there are orbs in there with basically small, sort of cylindrical pegs sticking out on many sides. And these are very delicately placed into the box and held in with tons of, like, safety suspension methods and such.
Drew will pick up the short spear
Mm-hmm.
and examine said spear.
Okay. It's, just like all the other weapons, they tend to be very heavy. It's very beautifully decorated. Ornate, silver, with a red stone in the middle, and brutally sharp on its edges. A pretty good weapon, to be fair.
So I'm almost thinking it could almost be like the Romans throw the spear and then attack with the mace afterwards. But Drew is not a hog, and he'll just ask, "Does anybody have need of this?"
The spear?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I already took the sword.
Indeed, Soren.
Oh, I wouldn't know what to do with it. It's I've got my knife right here, and then I've got my and he's patting his waist, and then remembers that the Lady of Hardsby never gave him back his crossbow before going off to the war.
Dang it!
Oh, I guess it's just the knife then, but it's hopefully that won't come into play too much anyway.
With your consent, then, may I have use of this?
No argument on my part. Please make use of it.
Alright, so Drew will now add that spear to his inventory.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the way he's going to start fights now, is to throw the light spear and then jump in with the mace. So.
Yep. And that there is a +1 silver spear, so that's what you get.
Alright. We'll add. And so I guess when we get done searching the boat, I guess it's off to the temple, yeah?
Yep.
I will leave as we did previously. I'll instruct the 65 Brigade to do their best to throw seaweed or whatever on top of the boat, but just kind of keep an eye out, look out for anybody snooping around.
They do their best to camouflage it, but it's always very orderly camouflage. And so, if you have an eye for patterns, you can definitely notice what they're doing. But yeah, as you leave the cave, it's about a 30-minute walk, and eventually you guys see your home. That's Greyhawk right there. And the city has its normal walls, its beautiful, temples and sights across it. But something does feel a little off about the place. You're not sure why. The city is more quiet than usual.
Keep your wits about you. There's definitely something odd happening here.
Yeah. Stay safe. Should we just all meet up back at the ship when we're done, or meet at?
Is Josephine with you right now? Or did
Yes,
she stay on the ship?
she's coming
Oh.
with me.
Hi.
Um,
I would.
Josephine, not to pry, but what state was the city in between when you saw your mother last and when you left?
Oh, you mean what was it like when I left?
Or anything important in the city happen around that time?
I mean, so like, I heard that there was yelling about what was happening in that other place we were at. And so, that's how I found out that they needed soldiers and all that stuff. So, there's definitely been a lot of talking about that. There's nothing really else. There's nothing else that I can think of, no. That's about it.
All right. Well, thank you for the information.
Yeah, sure, dude.
So, Drew is going to hand Soren one of those red things, the red rubies or the red gem,
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to hand one to Rayrel,
Okay.
and then ask. He turns to Rayrel. May I have a moment? I need a quick moment alone.
Okay.
And he's
Alright.
still a little skittish, you can tell, but Soren, would you please?
Sure. I guess Josephine and I just kind of wait over in the corner and
Yeah.
make small talk, which
Yeah. So
Soren is usually good at, but doesn't want to has not interacted with Rayrell's daughter before, and it's just kind of so.
Dude,
Do you
you
like-
kind of
Do you
smell
like
like
ships?
seaweed.
Yeah. You haven't been on many ships before, have you?
Nope, not really. I mean, I've been on yours once.
You mean the one we were just on, or
No, when I was a little kid, I was on your ship. You dude.
well? And to be fair, it was my family ship at the time. This is the first ship that's been mine, even though it's for at least a few days anyway. I mean, I've got this one, which, in my experience, has been the best ship.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's that. I own the best.
But yes, so what's happening with Rayrel and Drew?
So Drew is standing with Rayrel, and he presses the third gem into her hand and says, as I think there are 3 of these, mostly it would have been prudent to split them between you, Soren, and myself. But I think I would like your daughter to have this, but I wanted to make sure I gave it to her mother first, so that you may make the decision when she would take possession of the gem.
Thank you. Does it do something?
I think it is worth quite a bit of money.
Ah. Well, I'll keep it in mind, but I'm also quite strapped for coin at the moment.
Well, now you have 2. And Drew will nervously turn and walk away. And, shall we continue?
Yes. Well, you guys continue on to the temple. I'm going to head over to the stag. That's the name I gave. That's the right one, right?
Sounds
Ivory
good.
stag.
Yeah.
Yes. Where should we meet? Back at the temple?
I would say this. If you run into any trouble within the next 24 hours, come to the temple.
Fair enough.
We will be there. Afterwards, if you run into said trouble, make your way to the ship.
Of course.
Okay, so you're going to the stag, Rayrell?
Yep.
Okay, I think we'll do you first.
Okay.
So, this is your old haunt for whenever you're in the city, I'm supposing.
Yes.
So, you come into the stag, and the older gentleman that usually mans the place. Or no, I think she was an older lady. But the older lady that mans the place is, minding her own business, and she sees you, she raises an eyebrow, but mostly continues on her own path. Your husband is usually
We're not married.
Mm,
Not
you're
married.
the ex-husband.
We never married.
The
We just had a
ex-mate.
kid together. Yes, there we go.
Yo, baby's daddy.
Mm.
Yeah.
He's not here, though. He's usually working right around this time. But he's not. He's gone.
I walk up to the woman working the bar and ask, is Corin here?
Corin hasn't left his room in a little while. Wait. Well, is that you, dear?
Yes.
Before you go up and see him, come here for a moment.
Okay.
Take a seat.
Okay. She takes a seat.
She takes a little paper out from under the bar stool. City guards wanted me to put up this. And she unfurls it, and it's a wanted poster with all 3 of your images on it. And now added on is your daughter.
Oh dear. That happened a lot faster than I thought it would.
Word travels fast. They have scrying mages between the 2 cities. Everyone knows what you did. Fortunately for you, you are always out of the city, so not many people are familiar with your face around here. And so if you remain discreet, you should be okay. Corin is upstairs in the room that he rents. He's a real wreck, though, since you've left, and it's a little pathetic. But yes, keep your head down. And if you need a place to hide, I'll help you out, dear. But stay safe, alright?
Alright. Well, Josephine and I are gonna head upstairs. We might stay at least for the day. Don't want to go wandering about town.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, thank you for letting me know.
Of course.
So, Rayrell and Josephine head upstairs, and Rayrell knocks on Corin's door.
Sort of quiet for a moment. And nobody answers.
Rayrell sighs and just slowly first checks the lock, see if it's open. If the door's open. And
The door is open.
And then she and Josephine quietly step in. And she says, Corin, I'm back for the time being. Where are you? We have to talk. Rayrell goes further into the room and looks for him.
You hear
Corin?
sounds in the washroom.
Okay. She knocks on the washroom door. Corin?
Yes, dear, be out in a second.
Okay.
And after a few seconds, he does come out. And it's Corin. And he looks very disheveled and a little frazzled. But he seems in good spirits. Dear, it's great to see you again.
Yes, at an earlier hour this time.
Yes, that's okay. Any hours is good with me. Always happy to see a friend.
Well, I found our daughter in Hardby.
Oh, our daughter. Daughter! And he hugs her kind of awkwardly.
Are you feeling alright, dear?
Never better.
You just seem to be acting a bit odd.
Oh, that's nothing. I've just been throwing myself into my work.
Your work at the bar.
Yes.
Our friend downstairs says you've been up here for days.
Oh, I just do the late shift when she's in bed.
That's true. Well, did you know our daughter had left and joined the army?
Yes, I've heard about that. I fully support her decision. You can tell your daughter takes a little tighter grip of your clothes.
Darling, are you sure you're okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
And I look to Josephine, see if she's like on edge or anything.
She's definitely shaking her head a little bit. No, that's not him.
No,
Mom,
it's not.
That's not him.
That is not. So I like gently keep Josephine behind me, and I'm just like, I'm going to ask again, and I
Okay.
want the truth.
Of course.
Are you feeling okay?
Dear, I am feeling fine. Sometimes things are a little strange, and sometimes when a daughter leaves, you get a little hectic. But I am okay now. Don't worry.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a question. And DM, I'm going to send you the answer through Discord.
Okay.
Darling, what was the first feather I brought back for Josephine?
First feather? Well, that's obvious. He kind of looks around the room for a second. It was an eagle feather, wasn't it?
No. Josephine, go downstairs.
And give me a roll for initiative right now.
Yep. Alright, initiative. That is a 21.
Okay. So give me a dexterity check.
Shit, just went sideways.
Jeez.
Yeah. Okay. Dexterity. Okay. Okay. It's a check,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Okay. 13.
13. Okay, so let's say. Okay. So he's talking to you for a moment, and the words kind of flow. You know, you're still kind of considering what the hell he's talking about. And you know this isn't him.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment you're about to call him on it, you can feel, or you can see him take one of the, like, pieces of, like, pottery that's in the room and just fucking sling it at you. And it comes flying towards you.
This just turned into domestic violence.
Yeah, and you're still so taken off guard that it hits you square on the face. And, oh God. Oh God, I didn't expect to roll that high. God, it fucking bashes you in the head. You take 18 damage to that.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I know, I'm surprised too.
It's a +5 bowl of hitting.
No, it was 3d6 and I accidentally rolled all 6s. The fuck?
That bowl.
That bowl took... My nose is just, like, broken and bleeding right now. That took out half my health. Holy shit.
So you are... That thing just... I guess it's like, not even porcelain. There's probably some metal in that thing or some, like,
probably
heavy
look
liquid.
like a porcupine right now with pieces of bowl sticking out of your face.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna say that thing contained vinegar, right? And it fucking smashes, and there's tons of liquid weight behind it, and you're sent sprawling to the ground. Josephine screams, tries to like keep over you, like, stay away from her.
And I just looked at Josephine, like, my face all bloodied. I'm like, run to the temple now.
And she nods her head and she bolts, like basically as fast as you can go, which is astonishingly so. So she's out of there. And now that you've had half a second, you can collect kind of what happened to you just then.
I get back up, like, beating the blood off my face. And she draws her new fancy sword. I'm like, oh, Corin would never do that.
I'm sorry, dear, but, I am Corin. And you see his face twist terribly.
The fuck you are?
Yeah, I didn't expect you would find out this quickly. And he grabs up like a wood cutting axe that he had left by the fireplace. But it looks like they're gonna have one less opponent.
Thank God there's not another bowl.
Right.
I think I can handle an axe.
Yes.
So what do you do?
I'm gonna try to knock him out, I guess. Just pommel the sword to the head. Because I need information.
Mm-hmm.
And plus it'd look really bad if it looks like I murdered my baby daddy.
Mm-hmm. Well, so now that you're looking at him, now that he's changed, you notice one major change on his body is that right at the nape of the neck, there's a perfectly spherical red stone sort of embedded into his flesh.
I'm gonna go for the stone instead.
Mm.
Just try to smash it.
Okay, so what are you doing then?
I'm going to... Maybe she'll just try to grab at the stone with her hand. She won't use the sword.
Mm-hmm.
So she's just gonna try to... I guess this would technically be a grapple?
Okay,
So
yeah.
she-
Give me a grapple.
Alright. That is a 15.
Okay, so you managed to get a stronghold on his wrist, and he's restrained for a moment. And I would say yes, you have him mildly restrained. Oh, goodness. Damn cats. So yeah, you have him restrained.
And then, I think she's just gonna, like, really, like, look at him, see if there's, like, if it's just, like, a shape changer or, like, a possession sort of thing. Like, see if there's any indication this is just Corin's body just being under the influence of someone else.
No, you can tell whatever this is, it's not Corin. There's, or is it? You can't tell for sure.
So Rero goes,
Give me 1 second.
yep,
There's 2 battles going on right now.
right?
Turn the camera on the other one. Those cats are like getting after it, dude.
Yeah, they are.
Yep. Yep. Time to separate the two and
Sorry
give them a
about
stern
that. The
talking
cats
to.
were fighting.
That's alright, it happens.
Just give them a stern talking to.
Yeah.
You knock it off.
But yeah, you have, you know, a lover with an axe, and you're not sure if that's him or not. There's something demented going on, though. And you have him restrained. He's like, what are you gonna do? Kill me?
No, that'd be too easy. And I'm just gonna take my normal short sword and just do the pummel to the temple to knock him out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, give me a little attack roll.
That is a 17.
Okay, so you have him in such a nice, like, pinned position that you can easily get it onto the side of his head, so it connects immediately.
Awesome. And then it's non-lethal. I don't want to kill him, so 7 points of damage.
Okay. And while this is happening, you know, he takes a smack to the head.
Mhm.
Drew, you feel a tug on your cloak as Josephine is looking at you, wide-eyed as hell. And
She's found me.
Come
Indeed.
now. Drew, come. Drew, she's like...
I don't argue. Drew does not argue and just goes, go.
Let's go. And she begins running off, like,
Okay, I'm chasing her, little bud.
breathing and, like... Is Soren with you?
He's kind of yelling off.
Yeah.
Just Drew? Do you need me?
Come on.
So
Yeah,
start
we're
jogging
both
after
sprinting.
her.
Yeah, we're sprinting after her.
So, meanwhile, Rayrel, he backs upwards. He says, and his face twists back into Corin's, and he says, "Come on, dear. All these good nights we had together. We should keep it together for our daughter." And he swings the axe at you, like right at your skull.
Shit.
But you're fast, and it falls down and clunks into the wood, and it hits the wood and the floor, and it's stuck there. And you have another opportunity on him.
Okay, I want to take the pommel of my blade again and strike, and Says like, darling, I don't want to talk about marriage again.
Okay, so let's see. Do you hit him?
Let's see.
I sounded a little too excited about that.
That is a 25 to hit.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you get him clear on the back of his neck.
And that is 9 points of non-lethal damage.
So he stumbles onto the ground for a second, and Drew, Soren, you're at the entrance of the inn, and Josephine has bursted back into the inn.
I'm looking to follow her wherever she goes.
Mm-hmm.
Spear in hand this time.
Oh, jeez.
So the thing says, and what are you thinking about right now, Rayrel?
I'm just concerned if Josephine's safe, if even Corin's even alive.
He says, listen, you don't want to kill me. I know where he is. You know you can't do this much longer. I feel bad about hurting me, don't you? And he jams it out of the floor and goes for your legs. And he connects with you.
Oh dear.
And the swing... Oh boy. It gets you in the ankle, and there is a lot of blood coming out. That is 14 damage.
Oh my god! I'm down to 4 hit points, guys. Get up those stairs.
So yeah, you are suffering a lot more blood loss than you thought, and the world's turning a little dark and fuzzy around you. But you hear footsteps up the staircase, and Soren, Drew, you burst into the room.
The first thing Drew is going to do is run and tackle this dude. Like, I'm without stopping. No door is gonna hold him. He shoulders the door and runs to tackle this fool.
And Drew's a big dude too, isn't he?
Yeah.
He is, yeah. 6'4", 230.
Jesus, he's a fucking football star.
Yeah, with, he has a +2 strength modifier, so he's fairly strong.
Alright, give me that pin check then.
Yep, alright, here we go. I am going to roll 1 second. Do it on there. There we go. Come on, you, where'd you go? Dice roller, Wizards of the Coast. There we go. I am going to roll, and that's going to be a 19, sir.
Okay, so you just fucking belt into the room.
Yep,
And
no stopping.
for a moment, Rayrel, you almost think you're gonna lose consciousness. It's there for like half a second. And then you just hear a fucking clang and a sound of books falling as Drew tackles whatever this thing is right into your bookshelf, and the books fall over the floor, and the thing cries out as it gets smashed against the bookcase. And Drew, you have this thing quite thoroughly pinned.
Yeah, no, the spear, if I can, the tackle, if I still have the spear in my hand, I'm going to put it right at his throat. I mean, the tip's probably already a few millimeters in his throat. But
And
not so much as to, destroy him.
Soren, what are you doing?
So it's as we burst in, my hand had started crackling. Like I was planning on. Soren was gonna toss a chaos bolt his way, kind of seeing him hovering over Rayrel with an axe and her leg in bad state, but doesn't really have a clean shot where he'd feel. I don't think that I'd be comfortable not hitting Drew with that. And
Okay.
I guess I'm just gonna run up to Rayrel's leg and grab any piece of cloth I can find and just start applying pressure. And just
So
trying to staunch some of the bleeding.
So Rayrel, what do you do?
Let's see. I'm going to cast Goodberry.
This is no time to eat, Rayrel.
And then I'm just gonna eat all of them for my bonus action so I can regain like the 10 hit points.
She just got destroyed and now she's having a snack. What the hell?
I'm trying to tend to her leg as the one party member without any healing magic.
So she just like pulls like a branch from like her pouch and like furiously casts Goodberry and just shoves it all into her mouth.
Like a chipmunk, you just shove all of it.
It's like in a cartoon where they take the grapes and just clean it out in one. But this is far more grim and disturbing situation to do.
It's like in Skyrim and you're in like a really bad fight and you're just shoving potatoes in your mouth.
Just wheels of cheese.
Yes.
This is... Oof. And then Drew, you're kind of an interesting linchpin here. What's going on your end? You've got a large blue creature you pinned to a bookcase.
Yep.
With a twisting face.
Yep. So if Drew's total weight is on top of him with a spear to his throat. And if you move more than but an inch, I will run you through and end you. Do you understand? 2 hands now on the spear.
I'm dead either way.
Then you better tell us
My disguise
why you're here.
foiled so fast. I'm dead either way.
Your disguise. What are you doing here? Why have you attacked
I was
me?
ordered to do this. I'm built to be doing this.
By whom?
The Githyanki take me at birth, turn me into a tool for them. Now that I'm no use to them more, they're in my head. And he looks at you, Rayrel, they're in my head. And as you see, there's a flash of Corrin there for a moment before the red gem shatters and the thing sort of slumps and it loses all movement and it stops.
So Drew is looking at this. So there's like this red crystal thing that cracked and broke into pieces on his neck.
Yep.
So Drew will tap this thing on the chest, slap him in the face to see if it comes back. And if it doesn't happen, then Drew's going to get up and take the axe out of this thing's hand and throw it to the side of the room.
Now that, Josephine's still in the doorway, basically in shock of what's going on right now. But the thing is pretty dead. It does not seem to be moving an inch.
Drew will immediately move to Rayrel and cast Cure Wounds.
Okay.
And that will be 2d8 plus 4. That's going to be 8, 9, 10, 11 points that she'll get back.
Okay. So...
Mostly focused on that cankle she has now.
So you're still bleeding from your forehead, but
Yeah.
the bleeding on your leg has mostly stemmed, and you're not passing out anymore.
Are you at full hit points yet?
I'm at 25, so I'm good for now.
25 of what?
36.
Alright, Drew will one more time cast Cure Wounds at 2nd level. So now you are going to get back 14 more points.
Alright. I am back to full.
And he'll pull the pottery out of her face while he's healing her. And if her nose was broken, he will have set that before he healed her up.
So,
Pulling pottery out of your dome.
it's kind of sad. This is, whenever you used to stay in the city back with Corin, back when you two were, still dating, this was your place to hang out. And now, it's a dark room. It's been laid to waste. It's kind of sad. And
Right.
some creature wearing Corin's clothes is, slumped to the ground.
Rayrel stands up and hobbles over to Josephine and just hugs her. She's like, "You did good."
She's crying for the moment. Doesn't seem
Yeah.
to be saying much. You
Drew
can tell
is
she's
searching
visibly
around.
shaken.
We'll find your father. That wasn't your father. We'll find
What?
him.
What was that? I think Soren seems more shaken than you are. So he was going on about the Githyanki. It's how did they know where to look for us and where to find you?
I have no idea.
So Drew is just searching the room silently at this point.
I
Seeing if
mean,
there's any letters, any notes, any written correspondence, if searching the body, searching all sorts of stuff. Thoroughly.
Rayrel, what do you think about that? That he's like searching your house, or at least like something sort of close to a house for you.
It's whatever right now. She just got her face smashed in with a bowl and nearly lost her leg again. You
Mhm.
know,
Fair enough.
That leg keeps getting messed
the
up.
fucking leg.
Is it the spider bite leg?
Yeah, it's a spider
Yeah.
bite leg.
You're never gonna be looking good in pictures. Better wear long dresses.
Aw.
Oh, she always wears long dresses and leggings anyway. Eventually Rayrel's gonna start helping look for clues as well.
I mean, it looks like this creature had been doing its best to live Corin's life. It doesn't look like he's been here that long, though, because, the things that are out of place don't seem like they've been out of place for that long.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, it's very recent.
Okay, I turn to Josephine and it's like, pack some things. You're definitely coming with us now.
And you hear one more set of footsteps up the staircase.
Okay.
And a knock on the door.
Rayrel, I think the door's kind of bashed in at the moment, the way Drew came
That's fair.
charging in.
Okay, so at the doorway, kind of a little shocked, you see the lady who owns the bar, and she's basically speechless.
I can explain. And I just kind of point to, like, the weird creature wearing Corin's clothes.
I knew something was up.
When was the last time you saw Corin?
I mean, I saw him just today. He's this thing has been working as him, if that's the case.
Has he been acting strangely?
I think there's something else you folk may need to know. I heard that thing yell the Githyanki from downstairs. They came by here, and they were asking about you all.
I'm sorry, who came by?
The Githyanki.
Aren't they...
There was an...
They showed
I don't know.
themselves in the open. Interesting.
She seems like really troubling. I don't know what was going on. I don't get involved in this.
How?
But only about a week ago, there was some sort of boat or two that were flying over the city. And then this blue projection comes out of this wrinkled old man's face. He looked like an orc, and he demanded the return of his vessel.
God damn it.
And he said, should we not, the city will be leveled to the ground. Everyone's been on edge since then. I thought Corin's strange behavior was just a part of that. Do you have something to do with this?
We may have stolen a boat.
We found a derelict vessel. We stole nothing.
True.
There was a boat that was... how do we say this? There was a... there was something shaped like a boat that was crashed in the desert. And we are not sure which laws of salvage pertain to this particular thing, but we are now in possession of it. But it is while it is shaped like a boat, it is no ordinary boat. I will tell you, it flies.
I can assume that much.
She saw the other two.
Well, Drew is still just amazed by it, so he's still just making sure people are hearing him right.
I suppose now we really have to go talk to the temple and figure out what to do about this boat.
Indeed.
So when they were asking for the boat, were they asking... You said they showed up here? Did they know who all of us were?
They knew your names, but I don't know more than that. There was an illusion sent out to the entire city of this creature's head. It's clearly a lot of power behind this thing.
Yes.
But beyond that, I can't give you much more information.
And if they demanded their vessel back, it's location, time frame. Any details?
They said that once they spotted the vessel, we would have 1 week to return it. And if it was not returned by then, they would level the city.
I say, with what we have now, the information we have, we proceed to the temple with caution. Because if they saw it's advantageous to replace Corin,
Yes.
who knows who else they would have done it with.
Then by all means, let's head to the temple post haste.
Yes.
Before we leave, the red gem that was on whatever this thing was, did it look like the stones that Drew distributed to the group?
There's some vague resemblance, yeah.
I guess can I just because I pull mine out and I'm like looking inside to see if I see. I don't even know what inside.
It's just a really reflective little rock.
Do not like these things.
The cannon should be able to discern what these are.
If sure.
Shall we?
Yes.
And DM, did Drew find any correspondence, writing letters, anything applicable to this creature?
Yeah, give me religion.
Alright, religion obviously is one of my strengths. And we are gonna roll. And that roll is going to be a 13.
So, Cuthbert talks about order and law and, structuring a peaceful society. And among those teachings, there's a couple creatures held very highly for their ability to disrupt an orderly society. One of the most amongst those is the doppelganger. And they're known for their ability to infiltrate. And from the depictions you've seen, this one matches it pretty closely. Though the red gem in the neck is definitely one that's not common amongst most doppelgangers. Doesn't seem any pictures you have of them at least depict it.
Okay, well, I will scoop up the pieces
Mm-hmm.
in a piece of paper and then just kind of throw them in a pouch.
What am I supposed to do about this body?
Call the. Oh, that's a good idea. Well. Very Shh. Are your people around to clean this up for us and deliver said body to temple?
I can carry it. I
I'm
don't.
not asking you to carry a body in the middle of the walkway as we go to the temple.
Perhaps we can call the guard or get someone from the temple to take care of it.
Does it still look like her baby daddy?
No, it looks like a blue thing.
Yeah, we're not. Okay, that's it. Drew's gonna find a carpet, anything. We're gonna wrap this thing up, and Drew will sling it over his shoulder since he's the temple guy, and it would be more
rug.
likely, bring out your dead. So we'll.
The
Monty
bartender's
Python
just like
reference
giving
from
you a blank stare while all this is happening.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take it. Drew takes the body, wraps it up, and he's gonna bring it to the temple as they walk.
Before we go trampsing out, besides me, does everyone else in the group? You all wear armor, right?
Yes.
Chainmail.
Does Josephine have any armor?
Nope. Well,
Nope, not.
I do actually. And she's like pats her chest, like, and you hear the clinking of chainmail. Like, they gave it to me while I was serving in the little force they have.
All right then,
Although
and
it's
I
a
will.
little big.
I will only cast mage armor on myself then, if no one else needs it.
Well, let's hope that Josephine doesn't get involved in any fights if one erupts.
I can watch her if that's what you want.
Yeah, I'll come back for you, Josephine.
Mm.
But if anything does happen, feel free to run to the temple.
Okay.
Should we work out any kind of, code word to make sure that when we see Josephine again, she's Josephine?
Oh, that would be a pretty good idea.
If we're gonna be separating while there's body doubles about.
Josephine, why don't you pick a word?
How about Rose?
All right.
So you all are off to the temple then?
Rose it is.
Yep.
Okay. So you make your way to the temple, and while you're walking through town, you notice some new faces about. There are, like, in the city guard or peddling wares and stuff, you see Dwergar and Sverfneblin, kind of just mingling in with city life, which is a nice little sign to see. But then,
Must be refugees.
Soren, you manage to catch something before anyone else in the group does. You notice, and people are parting ways for this person, that there are Githyanki soldiers about.
In the city.
In the city.
That's why I was surprised that they just showed up at the damn bar.
What the hell?
Is there an alley directly next to us, or
There's an alley,
or a
yes.
shop? It's the nearest opening or door. I just grab the other two and yank them into the alley if I can.
Alright.
I won't resist.
I'm not resisting.
You see this, like, dwarf drunk sitting there like, hey, this pathway's taken.
Jesus Christ, you have no... I mean, Saint Cuthbert.
Who's this Jesus Christ?
Yes, sorry. Saint Cuthbert, you have no ownership rights of this alley. Move aside.
Okay.
We
Loud
can
arguments.
share.
Loud arguments are not the best time for loud religious discussions while we're hiding
I'm
from
going to
soldiers.
crown this little man if he does not move. I am fed up.
Well, quietly at least.
We can share the path, man.
And you notice, like, straddling through, like, people, it's like when a schoolyard bully walks in, the kids and the people of Greyhawk are, like, parting for these Githyanki. And these things are very happily lugging, like, very large great swords over their shoulders.
Are they here? Are they here just for us now? Or are they just moving in at this point?
I mean, it seems like they're working with Rory.
Right, but I mean, Greyhawk wasn't working with Rory before we left, right? That's
I don't believe they were.
And
We should...
The guy passes by, so you're clear to go again.
Let's go.
Unlike when you were sneaking through Hardby, these Githyanki are not very subtle and aren't trying to hide their presence. And so, moving out of the way when they're nearby isn't too difficult.
Did Rayrel tell us about the wanted poster with us and her daughter on it?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
And you do get a few, like, weird looks as you're walking through the streetways.
To be
But
expected.
eventually you do reach the Temple of Cuthbert, and Drew, you're home. So what do y'all do now that you're here?
Well, normally, so when we get to the temple, there'll be two priests that will come and greet us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll instruct those priests to take this body and place it in stasis until the canon can examine it.
The priests nod and they do so, but they're also giving you weird looks.
All right. And Drew will take his companions and will immediately head to the canon's office to see where the canon is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Dominic is in his office, and you can see him in there, writing furiously, as many older priests of Cuthbert do. They're furious letter writers.
Like the one we met in Hardby.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So Drew will knock on the door. He will bounce up and down, meaning he takes a knee and then gets back up.
Yes,
kind of a
come in,
greeting.
come in. It's all good.
Sir, we have found the results of this comet, which was no comet, and there's a bigger plan in play.
Drew. Drew. What have you done, Drew?
Sir?
My son, what have you done?
We have fulfilled our mission for the Order, sir.
Who are these people that you've brought upon us?
Those are very ominous words, sir. These are my companions that helped me discover what it was, what the comet truly was.
Nay, nay, I take no homage with them. They seem of fine companionship. I ask of the invaders from the sky. What info do you have on them?
Yes. Sir, apparently, and I cannot say with all certainty, but the comet was in fact some sort of vessel that flies, that is from a different plane or a different world, and apparently these Githyanki, as they're called, are actually walking the streets of Greyhawk this very moment.
Well, yes, I've seen them walk about.
They are very dangerous. They prey on your mind. But I think they may be looking for this vessel that we are in possession of.
So what is your plan then? Because as well, the oligarchy of the city demands that the vessel is returned to them.
It is my belief that either Greyhawk is working in conjunction with the Githyanki to dominate Oerth, or the Githyanki are trying to take over Oerth on their own. I believe a major war is on its way to this continent, sir.
Those are bold claims, my son. Bold claims. Do you have any evidence for that, aside from the obvious?
The mere fact that they are here and there are refugees from other lands that are finding their homes being...
These people from the Underdark, we were suspicious of them at first, but they are not fleeing Githyanki. Drew, they are fleeing the Illithid.
Indeed.
The previous captain of the ship we have mentioned that before their ship crashed into the desert, that they were in combat with Illithid.
Do you think maybe that we are perhaps the unfortunate guests of two warring parties that have crossed blades in our own home?
Seems like that, yes. And I think Rory is somehow involved as well, since he was at the crash site.
It would not be wise to allow these Githyanki to roam our streets freely.
And what
I believe.
What would I
Yes,
have
sir.
them do? They have threatened to blow the city up and level it to the ground. We know not of their full strength, but the fact that they can so easily make a projection of the entire city when they arrived is reason enough. And their great sky warships, they darken entire sections of the city at once. What do you have us do, Drew? You have me march to the ruling council, tell them to oust these invaders, and then have my entire town, everything we have worked for 1,000 years, laid to waste before me.
I think I have a better plan, sir.
What is your plan?
We do indeed have their technology, and we have one of their ships. I think that we fight this in a guerrilla warfare type action, where we continue to, as a phrase I have heard, death by 1,000 cuts. We do not fight them head on, and we do our best to make sure they know this is not from Greyhawk, that it some rebels perhaps.
I was lucky enough the other day to witness a fight break out between one of Greyhawk's finest and the Githyanki. And the Githyanki man was able to take out 3 soldiers on his own, even with superior numbers. These things mean they are, I don't want to say inhuman, but they are not like anything of this world when it comes to physical strength and sheer force of will.
There are other ways, sir, to fight superior beings. One is to not go head to head, to have other ways, and this ship that we have commandeered definitely has ways to destroy these creatures. I would ask you, do we believe that their presence here is benevolent and they want to be a part of Oerth?
Of
I
course
do not believe so. So we definitely need to find a way to either send them on their way peacefully or eradicate them. And I believe that myself and my companions are very well suited to help thwart this invasion and send them on their way.
Very well. I accept your proposal, but I urge caution. These things are dangerous beyond all reckoning.
I know. And your counsel is taken.
My son. My dear sweet son.
And out of character, Drew will hold his hand. Like he takes his hand in his and will squeeze it.
You know the entire city's out to get you. You're not welcome back as heroes, but as seen as harbingers of death. So far, from the tales that have returned of your journeys, anywhere you have gone, death has followed.
The only thing that matters is the people that I care about know the truth, and I know that you know. I do have one more order of business for you, sir. The Githyanki are using doppelgangers as spies and assassins, and we have brought a body back for you to examine.
Understood. Leave it in the moratorium. I will see to it that it is examined.
Yes, Canon Dominic, we will do so.
What are we to do? We have a dagger to our throats and an order to return the vessel.
I think for as much as I don't want to give up this ship, we do have an entire town, entire city of innocents being held hostage if we don't return it.
and you hear from outside a loud voice booming over the entire city. You hear, "I have heard." And you can see outside from where you're at. And you see a blue illusionary face of a Githyanki, the size of the entire castle of Greyhawk, looming over the city, speaking as a, like a giant hologram. But to us, it's an illusion. And he says, "I have heard that your conquering heroes have returned. These bringers of death will doom your city and your entire kingdom to ruin, should they not return the Spelljammer to us. We are merciful beings, and as we promised before, anyone who returns them and the vessel to us within 1 week will be spared. We do not want to raise this city. We simply want to protect you from the Illithid menace. We are your only hope. The beings from the Underdark know already of the Illithid's power, and of their new Alhun's might. Work with us, Greyhawk. It's your only choice. You have 1 week to give us an answer, and the materials if given. And with that, the giant illusory face disappears.
Do they sound like benevolent beings to you, giving ultimatums?
Of course not. But you have to realize, Druid, that not all people are as stalwart as you and I. Some are so willing to give in and to sell out. There's only so much we can do, Drew.
Oh, you have taught me more than that. Dominic, I know that I can make this world a better place. I will never stop. I will never quit. I do not believe there are things I cannot change. You have taught me this. Do not despair.
You are correct. And I've taught you a bit too well, I suppose.
I think you've done a fantastic job, sir.
Go now. If you wish to meet with those in head of the city, they are meeting in the crown building right now. And if you are to slay the Githyanki, or at least expel them, remember, both of their ships that they have brought with them are stationed in the harbor as we speak.
Oh.
What moves you make are up with yours, or are up to you. I will provide you with anything you need, but I can't do much more.
Then to the crown building we go. Drew bows, takes a knee, bounces back up, gives him a knowing, loving look that he may not come out of the crown building, but turns and says to Ray Rael, Josephine and Soren.
Josephine's back at the inn.
Oh, my bad. So those two. I think we need to go to the Crown Building immediately. You do not have to go if you do not wish. But this is a problem that affects all of Greyhawk and Oerth.
I think we should go. Maybe we can talk with them, see if there's another way out of this. I really don't want them to have the ship back.
And Drew gives you guys he just kind of looks over at you both and nods. And it's kind of like a new level of friendship has kind of popped up in his head. Like, more trusting, because I mean, we haven't been together so long.
Yeah.
But now you just see he feels there's another level to it. So, he is marching like his soldier self straight to this building, DM.
While we turn to leave, Soren will ask Dominic, in Hardby, we saw Greyhawk soldiers working with Rory's forces. Do you know anything about that?
Negative. I used to sit in on the council meetings, but after they've learned of my close connections to you, they have expelled me. I haven't been there in several weeks.
Alright, to the meeting then.
Okay. Do you want to call it there or continue going for another hour?
I think we could get a little bit more roleplay in the next hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, the Crown Building, Greyhawk used to be a kingdom ruled by a king. But as time went on, people grew less and less content with that, and eventually the king was overthrown and a democracy placed in, or at least a councilship. The most wealthy in the city are those who sit on the council. The Crown Building used to be the king's palace where he would do court, but with no king means no, crown. So now, it's simply used as a meeting place for the senators and the oligarchs. So, you find your way to the Crown Building, and there's a guard standing out front. He says, meeting's happening, can't come in right now.
We have information.
That's very interesting. No one's allowed in right now. Emergency meeting.
We're the ones they're asking for. We have the ship.
He looks to his side and he sees like a little wanted poster. Oh, well then you're not getting in. You're under arrest then.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, I take it you'd like to... Yeah. Okay. Arrest the only people that know where the ship is. That's fine.
Yeah.
Drew pushed past him. He's going through the doors.
Wait, you can't go in, right?
I mean, if we're gonna get arrested anyway, fuck it, let's go.
Yep.
But you can't.
I stiff arm his face with my left hand and barge through.
We'll tell them you tried.
Oh no.
Yeah, but I'm. That was good. Oh no. Yeah, stiff arm to the face. I'm going through the doors.
Oh no. And there's a double doors leading to the council chamber, and you hear arguing in there as it's happening.
Oh yeah, we're going straight in.
You burst right in.
Yep.
There's a bunch of like rich dipshits in their robes, like visibly gasp as you come in, like, oh, he broke decorum.
And Rayrell is like covered in blood still, so.
She's going to kill us as some kind of savage. What the? Look at him.
Give me.
There's a poor guy with them. And now you have the floor. You can yell to the entire council of Greyhawk if that's your meaning.
Hey, I need a 5-minute break, DM.
Yeah, sure. Well, we want to take a 5-minute break then?
Yeah, 5 minute break sounds good.
Hmm.
Sure.
And see what Drew's going to be saying? Okay. Alright, I'll put up the little break symbol and we can be back in a moment.
All right.
Shh! Shut up!
You guys there? Anybody home? Hello? Hey, thank you for the break, you guys.
How are we doing?
Thank you for giving me that break. When Hector Rodriguez was the founder of Optic Gaming, I don't know if you know who that is, but when he calls, I have to answer.
That's fair.
That's
I get
fair.
that.
Yeah, he's like a big dog in the industry.
Mhm.
So, and then I just go to do.
Hi everyone, we're back.
Woo. Alright, so we were just about.
Drew was taking the stage.
That's
Yeah.
right. So we bust through the doors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what do we see?
A bunch of perfumed, rich guys arguing in a small room.
And can we tell what they are arguing about?
I mean, I would assume it was the kind of big
Proclamation
elephant
that
in the
just
room.
happened in the sky.
Yeah.
Okay, so Drew busts through the room.
Mm-hmm.
Threats will not be tolerated. That's the first words out of his mouth.
They're all kind
Are
of
there
quiet.
If I look around, are there any Githyanki present in the room?
No.
We are not here to subjugate ourselves to some people because they've lost a boat. And how dare you even consider allowing them to do what they would want to do? You have many men and you have the arms. Send them on their way.
But one of them pipes up. But most of the arms aren't here.
Call
They're down
them
south.
back.
Why are they down south?
And another of the oligarchs smacks him on the back of the head.
Does this have to do with the presence in Hardby?
Now, I hear you having a problem with my gods and my folks here. And one of the most plump, the most decadently dressed, and the finest mustachioed one of them all stands up. Now listen, ladies, gentlemen, I understand that you have a problem with what's going on in the city right now. Things aren't going the way you want them to go. And I get that. It's all good. Don't worry about it. But that does not, under any circumstance, give you the right to burst into the Crown Building, subvert democracy, and threaten us the way that these invaders have. Do you so boldly assume that we do not know what we are doing? That we willingly prostrate ourselves before invaders? And that we are in cahoots with vile forces that would see our city felled? How dare you assume such things with no evidence, with no backing, and most importantly, with a weapon floating over our city designed by our enemies. If anything, I have reason to be suspicious of you being in cahoots with them. So don't you dare tell me that this city is being run incorrectly. Now, if you will, I would like to see yourselves escort yourselves out before I call the finest and bravest that Greyhawk has to offer on invaders like you.
You would call them for us, yet not the people that want to subjugate you? You are a clown, sir. You are a clown and a jester. Take these words you have, and you should be the one escorted out of here.
Let's be clear here. Us coming here and appearing before you is a professional courtesy for you. You are intermediaries in the business between this invading force, and we're the ones that we have what they want. You don't. We've come here so that you may explain the position of the city to us so that we can better assist you all.
The position of this city is that we have basically only a week before our head is bashed in with a rock. Now, if you don't mind, we had a kind and gentle person who has graciously been allowed to re-enter our city's service, if only temporary, to give us a means of forcing their exit from the city. Is that not right? That is.
Is he referring to someone?
Yes, that is right. And stepping out from the shadows in black plate mail.
God damn it.
Yeah, here he is.
This motherfucker.
Back by unpopular demand. It is Sir Robbler. And with him, behind him, sort of leaning heavily on a staff in red robes, is Rory. Now listen, we have a means of battling them the way that you do not. Do you think I was simply allowing the ship to sit there? Of course I wasn't going to jostle a Githyanki vessel. I'm not a fool. I wouldn't want to alert them to my presence. Like some people. And he turns away from you and he turns back to the city administrator and he says, "We were discussing a vessel that has been built that will topple them out of the sky. We have created a warbird off of the designs we have studied from their own vessel."
Indeed.
Then what need do you have for the ship we have commandeered? If you have the plans to build one yourself.
Oh, I'm not going to share it with the people of Greyhawk. Please, as though I would give the secrets of my defense away to them.
Will you use it in defense of the city?
Oh, I will. In exchange for re-entrance into the city and to be placed back into and leader of the Circle of Eight. That is my only stipulation. And our good council head here and I were simply discussing the means in which I could be placed back on this council. Keep in mind, you all know that he was removed from the council because he murdered another head wizard.
Yeah.
And this
In
is what
fact,
caused
two.
the war we fought in?
Yes.
Yeah, and like the council consists of a bunch of wizards who presumably are not present and would not allow this to go down.
Yes.
Why would we reinstall someone who caused the last war?
Because it's either that or see the city leveled. Truly, in this situation, my dear
Either way,
elf,
it gets
I
leveled
hold all
whether
the
you're in
cards.
charge or we get taken over by Gith. And honestly, if it is going to get leveled, I'd rather an outside force do it than someone from the inside.
You wound me.
I have been wounded by you several times, and I just kind of stick out my bloodied leg.
Well, what a shame that is. Minister, if this is the situation you keep your council rooms in, I may rescind my offer then. And you can see the head councilman get a little desperate, like, no, please fight them off, please. You're the only one who has a ship that can fly and fight these things.
We have a ship. We can fight them.
Hmm.
And all I ask, though additional requests might be added from my patriots here, my comrades, all I ask is our names to be cleared. I have no need or want to run this city. I merely want to protect it. Whether it's from outside forces or inside forces.
And you can see, like, a visible, fighting emotions in the head councilman's face. And, he says, what am I going to do? What is your ship like?
It is exactly like theirs.
Capable of downing a dreadnought?
Yes.
Perhaps we
He's
should give
shaking.
a demonstration.
No need. We only have... Very well. I'm risking my entire career on this. Rory, you are no longer needed here. Go back to the desert lands. And he visibly is like shaking. Don't kill us all. And Rory's like, he goes like, "Grr. This won't be the last time you all hear of me. I'll be back eventually. But sometimes the crops don't bloom when you water them. Robbler, come!" And Robbler salutes and follows behind. You have one chance. Don't let us all down.
Will you please supply us with a writ clearing our names immediately?
If you succeed, yes.
Oh,
I will
Well,
tell
if we
the
don't,
guards,
we're dead anyway, so...
I will tell the guards to keep off you for now, though.
I thank you.
Oh. He's like visibly like sweating.
Perhaps backdealing politics is something you should have gotten into. And Drew turns and leaves.
I mean, Rayrell, this is the man who sent your daughter to war.
Yeah, fuck him.
And,
Do you have that +5 bowl of throwing? Throw it at him.
And he plunged the entire city of Hardby into chaos, simply for monetary gain.
Oh,
So
actually,
this
I'm
is
gonna...
exactly
Can
a
I-
scrupulous figure.
Can I actually, it's like, what's the name of this, like, hoity-toity gentleman? What the fuck's his name?
I guess I gotta make one, huh?
Yeah, I guess.
We'll say it's Calliope.
Calliope?
Yep, Calliope. A big old man named Calliope. What about it?
Alright. Ray Rel kind of, like, straightens up and, like, stares down Calliope.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Are you the one who's in charge of the guard and the army?"
You could construe it that way, yes.
Fine. So can you explain to me how my 16-year-old daughter ended up within your ranks and south in Hardby? We have no qualm with them. They're merely a trading town.
I will get back to you on that one.
I want an answer now, because I'm pretty sure you have it.
Well, you see, trade relations are a difficult thing, you know. Many of our councilmen have vested interests in the trade routes, and we saw that there was instability in Hardby and that our merchants were favored there, so we figured we could help restore order to the city.
Restore order by causing chaos.
He almost says yes for a moment. He says, the Despotrix wasn't doing her job that well anyways. We were simply relieving a...
And how much did it cost you from Rory that time to have him kidnap the Despotrix on your behalf?
Because we found her.
You found her?
Yes, we did. And I'm sure, should you contact her, she can corroborate our story.
Well, seems I'm screwed whether you folk come back alive or dead, huh?
And on that, with that, Rerel just turns on her heel and leaves.
And right before you leave, he says, Gentlemen, I have served this council well for many years, and I will be announcing my resignation. My uncle has a beautiful vineyard in the countryside, and I've always wanted to see it.
If
Bye,
only it were
Felicia.
that easy.
And he says, well, goodbye, gentlemen. And he like runs
Bye.
out and he pushes past both or all three of you.
Bye. Oh well.
I suppose I should go collect Josephine.
Right. It's if we're out of the chamber at this point, Soren will turn to you both and just you all know that the ship we have is one of the small ones, right?
Yeah, but they don't know that.
Right. That I know.
And we don't need Robilar anywhere near the council.
No. But no,
So-
I agree there, but there's another floating ship that we need to keep an eye on at this point.
Indeed. So, DM, I would like to go recruit 4 priests from the temple to help us man this ship.
So these are a couple lads you've known for a long time, and you think that they would be trustworthy.
Yeah.
So, I'll let you name them as it becomes important and as they
Okay.
get brought up.
Okay.
But all three of them, for the most part, are like, yes, we will help defend our city.
Excellent.
Soren will turn to you all and how much does anyone know about the Council of Eight? Do they take appointments? Do they take walk-ins? It seems to me that they would have some vested interest here. Especially if Rory is involving himself.
Well, that's up to Rayrel and Drew.
What?
So, what your characters would know is that the Circle of Eight is basically it's like Wizard FEMA, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
It is. It's to make sure wizards don't do anything too crazy, and it basically is sort of in charge of all mages in the Fleness, which is the subcontinent that Greyhawk is found on.
Yeah.
And so it usually charters wizards from all across the subcontinent And this is usually seen as a very prestigious and very important position that you hold for life. So there's a lot of prestige attached to it. You know, it's the same amount of prestige as being like a Supreme Court judge. It's like, yeah, it's a big deal. But this one, it has international power.
I mean, I've never been, and I'm no wizard, but
But
it seems to me that would be a good use
know.
of. I'm interested in going, at least alerting them to the fact that what Rory just tried to pull, as well as seeing. It seems to me that if we're going to be going after a better armed ship than the one we currently have, some magical assistance would be a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since
if
it
what 60
seems the arcane is what pilots the ship.
Yes, and it's 65 mentioned to us that the primary cannon seems to be magic based as well.
Well, so
Right.
for the most part, the Circle of Eight meets around the Fledess, and Greyhawk was their usual meetings point, but after the Rari situation, they have moved far to the west. And so they haven't met in Greyhawk in a while, though there is a special wizard tower for them there.
So this is kind of like a satellite office for them.
Yes, they ain't nobody's home, unfortunately.
We have 1 week until they raise the city, right?
Yep.
How long would it take us to get to like the head office for the wizard folk and back with the ship?
With the ship?
Yeah.
I would say 2-3 days, but that is also assuming you can convince the wizard folk there to help you.
It's worth a shot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
we need arcane casters to help pilot our ship.
And I don't know whether this is something we would want to give them, but if Rory and his forces have already managed to reverse engineer a ship, they would at least be able to garner information while on board with us to potentially do the same.
Exactly.
There's an obvious benefit for them.
We just got out of a war. We don't need to start another.
I mean, is there any way into this tower? Soren's like looking for openings, or if the door is locked, it's like. I mean, if Hardsby can tell Greyhawk in the matter of a day where we are, there has to be some kind of magic communication in here to get back in touch with the 8 or the Circle.
I mean, you also have to remember that, outside of the prime material plane, the level of magical tech that they're working with is way higher too.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, I mean, it's a black stone tower that's pretty sheer. It's giving off strong Oerth vibes. Like, you can try and get in. There's not a whole lot of ways in, though.
I say we take a chance. It's only a couple days. We have a week. So if we travel to this town where the 8 hold their council and get back, hopefully with some help, we might just manage to pull this off.
I mean, you are also assuming that the Githyanki are telling the truth.
Mm-hmm. Well, or at least that part of their demand is true.
Mm-hmm.
Don't anticipate they'll be leaving once they get their ship. If they're an empire, I imagine they'll be sticking around.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just concerned if we hand over the ship, who they'll hand it over to next.
Well, I was thinking it's worst case scenario in my head was if we can't fight them off and maintain control of the ship that way, if there's anything we can leverage in terms of what we've learned about that the mind flayer, the illithid chamber that we found, if there's any way we can leverage the information we found to help kind of direct the Githyanki elsewhere from the city.
That is an option.
I'd like it to not get to that point, but
Yeah.
if negotiations occur.
I don't even know if they're worth. Would even want to negotiate.
Well, I mean, it's at least as much as you'll believe the announcement. They want the ship so that they can continue fighting the Illithid.
Then perhaps we offer to help them fight.
Yes, that was my thought as a last resort. Because it's, I imagine, if we pour, my fear is if we pour all of our resources in here and say 1 in a million chance we're successful against the Githyanki, I'm curious how much they've been holding Illithid in check.
That's true.
But that's, if anyone will know from this world, I feel like it'll be the Circle of 8.
Definitely. So we'll take the gamble. Go talk to the 8. Right?
Let's do it.
Alright. I'm gonna go collect Josephine. I don't want to leave her here with shapeshift.
Hmm.
And then we'll head back to the ship and just gun it.
Okay.
Hopefully we can get some help. Hopefully they hold to the 1 week.
So, with that, you head back and collect Josephine. And you're making your way back to the ship. And you start taking off. You rise up into the air as you've done so many times.
I'd like to try and stay low for a bit,
Mm.
if we know that the Illithid ships are in the harbor.
I mean, shits is accurate too.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
good
those
with
aren't
both.
Illithid, those are Gith ships.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
Oh,
the
they're
Gith
Gith shits. Got it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Get shits.
I mean, they hate each other quite a bit, so it's an important distinction to make.
Yep. That would not be a good mistake to make in front of them.
It'll be our newest insult, you Gith shit.
But this time, as you take off, things are a little different.
Ruh-roh, Shaggy.
You spy not too far behind you a giant galleon, silver, and with a skull embellished on its front.
Cool,
And it's
space
following
pirates.
You. You can hear the Gith speaking into your mind, Soren. And they say, "Surrender or die. So says the will of Locklith."
You cheeky devils. We're being attacked by Hottentots. It's a
So
Mary
as you-
Poppins reference, if you didn't know.
As you fly, westward across the gnarly forest, and you skim the tops of the trees, you can see the Gith ship following not far behind. And keep in
Ask
mind,
the numbers if we're faster than this boat.
they have 2, so they can keep 1 in Greyhawk while chasing you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's one less ship for Greyhawk to worry about.
Did you say this is another schooner-sized ship, or is
This
this
is
the
another
dreadnought?
schooner-sized ship, much like your own.
That's following us?
Mm-hmm.
Well, by all means, we should shoot first.
It's Soren will kind of broadcast this over the PA. We're being attacked from behind.
Mm-hmm.
Battle stations, if we've assigned those. If
Can we
not, figure it
fly
out.
the ship backwards? Because if we
I
can, we'll
don't
shoot.
know. I've never tried going backwards yet. That did not come up.
I just want to put that light cannon and fire at will.
Well, so speaking
I
of
guess-
light cannons,
Yeah. guns.
You're not the only one with one.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. That's why I want to shoot first.
I want to
Oh,
like.
no.
pull-
They've beaten you to shooting first.
Oh no!
They're already hopping rounds at us.
Mm-hmm. These things are aggressive, mate. They don't give a fuck.
Well, good. All right, then. Ballistas it is.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
I'd like to try and do like a
See if
like
they
going like going up like almost like a roller coaster, like trying to do just a full circle and see if I can come around the back of them.
Mm-hmm.
Evasive maneuvers Alpha Bravo. Let's go. Well, let's get to the. Well, if we're gonna shoot each other, let's go. If we're manned, let's. There.
Let's see, what?
Well, it looks like there's two.
Okay.
I mean, we have like 15 minutes left in the stream. So I don't think.
Should we take this battle to next week?
Yes.
Yep. So I'm gonna say
I'm with you on that.
That way we can maybe figure out a plan.
Ooh, I like it. No DMs allowed.
Mhm. So a beam shoots off. It ricochets off your ship, just barely missing. The whole thing shakes for a moment. You're caught off guard. But you know the Gith are coming. They've got swords out. You can see their faces from their own ship. And that you know a battle is brewing in the skies above Oerth.
The Adventures of the Blue Jay next week.
We'll see you next time, folk. Let's see how this fight plays out, huh?
All right.
We're all